1, 2, 3. We're live. Welcome on YouTube. Welcome. I'm going to post the link in a moment where you can join the Zoom room. What's going on? 1 second. Why? Okay. There we go. And here we are. I'm posting right now the link. And I would also love to post one other link. All right. Let me go back into the Zoom. Beautiful. Thanks for joining today, everybody. Monica, welcome. Thanks for being here and participating in the channeling session today. If you're new to my channel, I channel the Pleiadian Council. They are a multidimensional consciousness that speaks through me. It's a transmission of energy and frequency as well as information that comes through to support us in our own personal growth and our collective growth as a planet. And I do personal sessions and courses as well. I teach people how to channel as well as the Pleiadian. I work with the Pleiadian Council to support people in transforming some of their own challenges on an emotional level and navigating their lives and health. And you can find all the information on my website. And I'm going to do a little bit of a tour and introduce people to what you can find on the site, as I just recently came out with a new book and I have a book that's already published. So there's so many goodies that you can there's so many goodies that you can tap into from the Pleiadian Council. What? Okay, now screen sharing is on. So tinyurl.com/innate value, which I just posted, brings you to, why isn't it working? Brings you to the book that I just released, which will hopefully load in 1 second. There we go. And this is a book that came about through channeling sessions at the Pleiadian Council. It was like the session we're about to do, spoken in the trance state, not written. And it's all about money and value and transforming how those energies work on our planet, as this is a system that's really oppressive in a lot of ways and has been. And it's something that we simultaneously all need. So it is about how we can integrate that in our lives in really beautiful ways. And I'm really curious what people might think about this book. And more so on my website, you can find all of the information about this work, DanteStarshine.com. And so this box is really great. You can put your email in here, because when you do, whenever I go live, I send out an announcement on the email list. And sometimes, like this session, these sessions come up with a couple of days notice, because my life is often changing through many exciting different circumstances. So if you want to be in the know about these, just sign up on the email list and then make sure that when you do, that these emails don't go into the spam section. This is the channeling course that I offer. It is a 13-week program, 12 classes. Ignore that. We're enrolling for whenever people sign up. Whenever we get probably about 3 or 4 more students, you can join this course that has 12 hours or more of recorded content and weekly meetings to help you develop your skills as a channeler and as an intuitive. And it's really life affirming for everybody. And some people have even begun their own professional channeling practice from doing this course. It demands maybe like 2 or 3 hours of commitment every week, and it does help people a lot. It's one of my biggest excitements. So if you're not fully ready to dive into that, I do offer personal sessions as well. There's the channeling sessions. I do astrology readings. I work with people on a longer term basis. This is the first book that I wrote, I channeled, the guidebook to living love on earth, and the link is here. And this is a better place to jump into the full message of the Pleiadian Council, as the latest book is very specific. I don't think the latest book really is anything in comparison to the encompassing nature of these 400 big pages that really talk about every theme and aspect of our lives. So I highly recommend this to people new to this. And thank you so much for supporting. And as well, if you want to book a session or contact me, you can do it easily here. There's a link here to Calendly if you click that, but we're going back, Calendly. And here are all of the other ways you can contact me. You can send me an email here if the session doesn't work. And also, here are the methods of payment and donation. And these sessions that I do every week are done totally freely. And the donations help me to continue to do this freely and let these messages and these personal questions reach everybody. So I really thank you for supporting me in that way and making it possible for me to continue to share these updates every week. The ground rules for this meeting today are that when you're not speaking, please stay muted. And we prioritize the questions that are shared first in the Zoom room that are spoken, the questions that are spoken. Sometimes when you type out a question, Pleiadian Council might need more information from you than you simply type out. So that is why we go to those questions first, and then afterwards we'll take the written questions. The written questions can come into the Zoom chat window, or they can come into the YouTube chat window, and hopefully somebody here will volunteer to read those aloud. Speaking of which, when you email me from the email list, I will take questions in advance. And I have one question that was submitted in advance that I'm going to put into the Zoom chat, and hopefully somebody can read that aloud for us. Any questions about how this works, or anybody feel like saying hello, or any message, feedback? All right. Then why don't we dive in? So enjoy the transmission, and I'll see you on the other side. Hello, and we are the Pleiadian Council. We are very excited to be able to interact with you in this way, and we begin by thanking you for allowing the bridge between our realities to be open for us to exchange energy and information and support one another in growing and ascending to be in a more source-oriented consciousness. It is a great gift, once again. So we speak on behalf of a Galactic Alliance supporting your world in this process. And There are many other beings that come through to reach out to you. These beings may be your own guides, and you might feel some of their presence come through in the session, as well as some of our own energetic presence. You are beings of vibration, and you exist in the eternal here and now, when all of the other past and future realities and beings that are part of your own multidimensional self are present and accessible whenever you choose to allow them to manifest for you. And this involves attuning to the frequency. So the channel here is attuning to our frequency, and we as a guide of the channel are allowed to then come through and share this message that will come through in a sort of automatic way for the channel, in which he's not entirely thinking about what is being said, because we are working through him. And we assure you that anyone can do this. Anyway, we want to speak more about the message today that is relating to the idea of conflict and war, as this is a huge theme on your planet, and all of you experience conflict in your lives in some way. Now, we first of all bring this to the 5 laws of all of creation that we refer back to sometimes. And these laws are: you exist, and that will always be the case. Number 2, that 3, that everything is here and now. Number 4, what you put out comes back. And number 5, everything changes but these initial 5 laws. So the first thing to understand is that exists is a conflict with you, because you as a soul contain the entire all that is, or the entire multiverse within you. This is a holographic fiber and cell contains the entire thing. And the well-being of every part affects the well-being of the whole, as well as the well-being of the whole affects every part. So whenever there is any sort of conflict or tension or aggression, everyone involved is being harmed and experiencing hurt. Now, when you understand this, it does not make sense to wage war on another. And so the very basis of understanding is that the others are you, and you must see them as yourself. And there's a progressive stage to this level of awakening. To be able to hold another as yourself, you need the energy of compassion. And that is to feel empathy for their pain, to be able to relate to the suffering they're experiencing by understanding that we all suffer, and you have suffer in similar ways. Now, sympathy is very different from empathy, but it's a good start. It's better than not feeling sympathy. And that is the first stage. If somebody is in a level of aggression, violence, or hatred to another, they need to make that shift from this energy towards a more neutral energy by having sympathy. And this sympathy is an energy that often drains you energy. When you're experiencing a deep level of sympathy, there's a passion charges you with love, and compassion as the next step is bringing you into a more open and encompassing state in which you can hold others with love, and you could recognize that the well-being of one is the well-being of the other, and vice versa. So by opening yourself to see that whenever conflict exists, both parties are hurting and the whole is hurting, then you can take the first steps. So The other law that is so important to understand is that whatever you put out comes back. Meaning, if you put out an energy of aggression or violence, that energy will come back onto you. This doesn't necessarily always mean that it will come back to you right away. Sometimes there is a long delay in time that causes events to take sometimes years before something, quote unquote, catches up to you. However, when you are causing violence in such an immediate way as is now taking place in your world, that energy will come back onto you much quicker and with more intensity and severity than in other circumstances. So what you put out comes back can also come from even a lower level consciousness that is selfish and still be applied. If you recognize that by hurting another, that hurt is going to come back onto you, it does not make sense to affect others in that way. And therefore, wherever you're at, understand this. It is, in this perspective, ultimately stupid to cause harm to anyone or anything, because that harm will come back onto you. And you as humans are working to understand this better. And we understand that many of you here see the common sense in this. And now you may be wondering, well, how do I share that with others? We'll get there. We will get there. So now in your world, you're experiencing an ongoing journey of the idea of property and the commandeering or stealing of such property. And when you are experiencing these conflicts between countries and nation states, it all comes back to this idea of ownership of something. What you must understand in your world's context is even those that are helping others and portraying that as some level of altruism, or are seeking to expand their economy through the exploits of their quote unquote support for others. Even if it looks as if they are spending so much money in order to get here and there, it's still enabling certain individuals to profit from the exploits of the war. And therefore, there is no nation state or country that is in any sense innocent at this point and at this time. What your world will be coming to understand, and what we speak about a bit in our latest book, is that borders themselves are an act of violence because it separates and segregates consciousness. Negative energy divides and separates and says this belongs here and that belongs there, whereas a more unified state of oneness with source dissolves these boundaries, and everybody experiences that fundamental essence that all is one and the one is in all, and that what you put out comes back. And therefore, you're only ever affecting your own self with your actions. And you attempt to prevent these laws of nature from being reality through your limited negative consciousness that creates borders and says, I am a nation and I am a people, and I am part of that. When any of you say this, you are creating a deep segregation and separation that disconnects you from source. Now, this isn't to say that you don't recognize I am unique and I am individual. We speak so much about following your passion, and this passion is your pathway to discovering yourself. The purpose of your existence is to know who you are, and who you are fundamentally is source, but you need that passion, that love to fuel the engine. So you come to that realization, and you can have a sense of self as a group of people, though when that sense of self is based in an hierarchical thought formation that says, I am better than others, or we are better than others, or even to the extent that it says in so many of your religions now that we are the quote unquote chosen people, you create a massive amount of violence against others, and you separate yourself from others in a way that causes a massive rift in consciousness and violates these fundamental laws of oneness, that all is one and the one is in all. And there is nothing spiritual about this, yet this is espoused as something so spiritual by certain of your religions. And so many of these religions claim that they are the one chosen people above all of the others. And this is egoic, this is narcissistic, this is selfish, this is so many words that you use in your world that you are coming to know and understand as describing your lower dimensional state and the harm that it causes. And so here in this conflict, the trouble lies deeply within the belief systems and thought patterns that many are struggling to face and give up in their own right. And while this is true on both sides, we also want to remind you of the nature of the oppressed and the oppressor in your world, as there is a cycle of the victim, hero, villain complex. Whenever one person is stepping into, one person or any group of people, yes, step into one of these roles, it creates a force of attraction that manifests and places other individuals or groups of people into one of the other roles. And the cycle plays out forever. And it is almost guaranteed that the vindictiveness and revenge that is embedded in the consciousness of a deep victim will lead such a victim to, at some point in time, then become the villain in another way. And so here in these times in your world, you're seeing that there are different groups of people fighting, and both of these groups of people have been, in some sense, victimized at one point in time. They have been otherified and cast aside. And yet, when a certain group of individuals has been occupying a land for thousands of years, and suddenly another group of individuals comes in and lays stake to a claim on the land, being backed and justified by the biggest armies in your world, you have to understand that this itself is colonization, which is one of the biggest causes of the division and separation of consciousness and the instilling of deep violence in the hearts of so many of your peoples in your world. And when a nation has been colonized in this way, they are having their fundamental and innate value shrouded from their view. They are being told they are less than and they don't deserve what they have had access to for so long and so long. We don't have all of the solutions here, but we do have the ultimate remedy, that is source consciousness. The practical steps that your world will have to take will be many, but they will all be based in the source consciousness. And you can be part of the remedy by stepping into source consciousness, recognizing that there are no enemies and that there's no harm that you can cause to another without harming yourself. Recognizing that every time you judge another, you're amplifying the energy of judgment in this reality. Recognizing that whenever you see another as different and you see their suffering as justified or justifiable, you are causing that suffering onto yourself. You can come to go beyond this level of duality while living within the realm of duality, and start to anchor in that fifth dimensional non-dual state of consciousness that is the way your world will heal. So open yourselves to that awareness of the non-dual, where there is peace and there is love, that there is an understanding that all is one. When there's an understanding that all actions ripple out across space and time. And also, allow yourself to recognize the nature of violence that has been enacted and is enacted. Allow yourself to recognize that those who claim to help at this time are helping themselves. And the biggest influence you can have is on your own governments who influence from afar for their own self-interested purposes, as that is what has brought them to make things the way they are in this area of the Middle East in the first place. And when you start to see it from that perspective, you will understand who really is causing certain levels of disruption in the first place. You have to embody that consciousness of oneness and non-duality, and know that everyone involved is responsible. And when you tap into that ability to tap into peace within yourself, that peace will ripple out from you and beyond you to bring about new realities for others as well. And at a fundamental level, what everyone must recognize is that you are all the chosen person, and no one is the chosen person. You are all that one, that God, and yet, because you are all that, none of you are higher or lower than anyone else. We speak about this much in our other materials of how you can step out of the consciousness of hierarchy, because this is divisive and this prevents you from fully allowing your source consciousness to merge with you. When you fully tap into your source consciousness, you will know what quality will manifest on your ways of generating that energy in your world will accelerate the process of integrating into fourth energy. So we thank you for allowing us to share this message and share this transmission with your world. And we know that as this energy and this information integrates in your own consciousness, that massive change will ripple out in your world. We will now entertain your questions, comments, musings, and commentaries at this time, beginning whenever you would like.
There's a question from, somebody wrote a question in the notes. Shall I read it to you?
All right.
It says, what are the names of the Pleiadian Council, and do they coordinate with the Galactic Federation, and where is the head of the Galactic Federation?
Well, some names we can give you are the names of our stars in the Pleiadian system that you have given to them. They are not our names. They are Alcyon and Maya. And nonetheless, when you tap into some of these names, you can integrate some of the energies from our world. In our world, we have gone beyond verbal use of language. So we don't have names, but we do use certain sounds to elicit vibrations and highlight vibrations as we communicate with each other. The Galactic Federation spans many different civilizations, as in many different societies within this galaxy are involved. However, we don't have a central hub. We have many bases, some within our world of the Pleiades, some within Sirius, some within Arcturus, and so on and so forth.
Hi, Pleiadians. I have two questions.
All right. We might have two answers.
That sounds great. I would love your guidance on how we can help other people who seem to be stuck in being discouraged about what's going on in the world right now, the lack of leadership, all the fear and control, and how we can potentially help them steer into having more hope and optimism going into the future.
Feeling discouraged, they're not looking in the right areas, they're not looking for things. The world is filled with so much bad and good, and see that there is immense distortion in the mainstream media, the etc. All of these are essentially ideas. They are interrelated with each other, and beliefs with the information they feed you to make you easy to control. And when people feel sad and afraid or angry, they have far less power. There are so many other now have to any reality. You have to look for culture and so that represent a higher level of consciousness, that represent creativity, positive if you are going to feel positive. And all of these things are indeed out there. And we don't say do this from the negative. You need to have the entire picture. You need to see the positive alongside the negative. Many people feel depressed and discouraged because they look at the negative, because that is what is so readily available and in your face, literally as well. In your face all the time as soon as you open up some of the apps that you, by many senses, must live with, as it's a choice after all, though they are the dominant method of communication as well. So you have to take your creation of your hands and seek out the positive. And also you have to recognize that everyone has internal leadership. And you've the vision or so really to think of only some people as leaders. Anyone demonstrate behavior is if you want to see change in your world, you have to change it. And you have to demonstrate the types of behaviors you want others to do and as well. This is where you are creating your own sphere of reality. So if you lead yourself, you will be misled, because the point of your existence is to be you. And if you can't figure out how to be you, you are most certainly not going to be you, and you are going to not be fulfilling your. That is not going to feel very good. So, yes, positive, get the full perspective. Recognize you have to be your own leader, because you're
The sound was sort of going in and out. I hope the recording picked it up, but from what I could hear, it was an absolutely amazing answer. My second question is if you can have some guidance on how we can deal with having some amazing memories or life experiences where there might pop up a fear that we won't get to anything near that. Again, how to balance out sort of staying in a positive state about having that experience and wanting to experience that and potentially even more, but sort of doubting if that could even be possible.
Testing 1 2, testing 1 2.
Hi, Dante, would you just share?
You can hear again?
Yeah.
Okay, we're in Mexico again. We're dealing with the Mexico internet, which just requires patience. So yeah, allow for the breaks. The breaks are really amazing moments to pause and reflect and let the energy and information integrate. Meditate and smile, and just know that when you're relaxed like this, you'll feel as chill as they do in Mexico. All right, so let's continue. Yes, we would like to continue.
Okay, so my second question was how we can deal with having an experience and memories of something absolutely amazing in life, and then having doubts popping up if we could ever experience something similar to that or potentially even better. You know, how can we balance that wanting to experience it again versus having a potential fear of if that's even possible?
You have to consider what is an experience. Is an experience something that happens to you, or is an experience your own response to reality? That's what an experience is. It is your own response to reality. You let your excitement guide you to do what is exciting. You live that excitement out, and it carries you into a state of peak experience. And you will continue to reach higher and higher peaks of experience, though it is your fear of separation and fear of limitation that causes you to conceive of this thought that things could not be that way again. Though if your experience of bliss and joy and love was something that occurred within your being, it would be impossible for it to not happen again. So one very important thing that people can do when they start to experience this fear is practice the belief and understanding that everything is here and now. And if an experience happened in the past, the energy and information from that experience is available right now. And allow yourself to reminisce and do this at a somatic level. So don't just think back from a third person perspective as if you're playing out the movie in your head of what happened in your life. Imagine that you're back in the body of the person you were when you were experiencing that wonderful thing, and imagine what it felt like. Involve all of your senses. What did it smell like? What did it feel like? What did it look like? And how did you experience that as a sensation in your body? See if doing this can help you expand the feeling of love and openness and encompassingness in your heart. And if you can do that, you will be back in the flow of excitement and surefire on the pathway of manifesting something that reflects to you that high vibration energy again.
Okay, makes sense. Thank you so much for that.
Our thanks to you as well. And of course, we would like to take the next question when you're ready.
There's a couple more questions in the chat. Shall I read those?
We will prioritize the spoken questions if that is possible. But if no one speaks up in the next 15 seconds or something like that, then let's do those questions that are written.
They're from the Zoom chat. So they're people that are in this group, I think.
All right, that's fine. Let's proceed with that.
Okay. Thank you for reading and answering my questions. Is the best way to release my unprocessed anger by asking myself about those traumatic memories in a meditative state, reviewing them and allowing those feelings? Is it my problem that I suppressed my angry feelings instead of accepting them? How can I deal with my unprocessed anger and permanently treat skin inflammation on my face and head skin?
The first thing we will say is it your fault? No. Oftentimes, especially with the emotion of anger, it was not safe to feel that emotion at the time that it was suppressed, and that's why it was suppressed. If you are in a relationship that is abusive, whether it's with a parent or a partner or someone, anyone, to be angry at that person would bring them to cause more harm to you. So you have to take that energy and stuff it inside of your body and push it somewhere. Now, in order to release it, you have to feel it. You have to simply feel it and be present with it, and give it some space to go. As you feel it, it heals. And the part of you that is angry will grow and mature. It will become a part of you that protects you, because anger is there to protect you. That is why you get angry. And many of you, unfortunately, developed this very lower dimensional idea that anger is a negative emotion, but there's no such thing as a negative emotion. Every emotion serves a purpose and allows you to experience a certain effect. And anger is serving the purpose of allowing you to claim your power so that you can set healthy boundaries with others or protect yourself from energetic attacks from others or physical attacks from others or any sort of attack from others. And therefore, you need to have the ability to become angry when something negative is done to you, to use that energy of anger to respond to the situation at hand. So we don't even encourage you to think of the idea of releasing the anger, because if you release it, that is still another way of pushing it away. You're allowing yourself to feel and experience the anger. And by feeling and experiencing it with love and compassion, the parts of you that are angry will heal.
Thank you, Pleiadian Council. May I ask the question, please?
Yes?
So I am working in an organization voluntarily, and there's a man who's leading the resistance movement with off-planet help, and he says he's a Pleiadian contact, and his name is Cobra, and his website is 2012 Blogspot. He's done a lot of work. I was wondering if you have any insights about him, or whether you know about him.
We don't get any read on him. He has not granted sole permission for this read.
Interesting. Okay. No, I was just wondering because, you know, I'm working in this group, and sometimes there are questions and people don't trust each other, like you were saying. And there's a lot of information in case about how there's going to be a solar flash, and that will bring us into another dimension. And have you any information about that? And then I'll close and let somebody else speak. Thank you.
It's a possibility, but we don't see it as a probability. We want you to be careful. We want you all to be careful, because there are many out there who don't teach the concepts that we and other empowering teachers espouse of self-sovereignty and personal empowerment and thinking for yourself and being yourself and seeing unity and oneness. And there are many that teach that same concept of being chosen people, or the chosen ones who are not necessarily the people, but are the only people who know the truth. And what this does is it creates separation, and it allows you to be controlled, and it instills massive levels of fear in you. And one of the great tactics of groups of this nature, often known as cults, is to promise a certain date and time in which certain things are bound to happen. And you can study the history of this. It is very clear that this is a tactic that so many of them do. On this date, this will happen, and then it doesn't happen, and then there's a massive justification as to why. Many of these groups will hijack the understanding of certain energetic phenomena and experiences, such as the harmonic convergence of 1987 and the next convergence in 2012, and so on and so forth, claiming that these dates and times in which there is a subtle dimensional shift of energy mean somehow that there is something cataclysmic that will come about. And this could not be further from the truth. And anyone who is talking about any such cataclysm is not doing this because they actually have any intel, but they're doing it because if you believe them, they will be able to control you more. So we don't know the full context of this, but we're getting an energy here that is saying that something fishy is about, and that many of you who are drawn to this concept of channeling might also be on the edge of being drawn into other teachings and concepts that are not pure.
I have a question.
All right.
Is Nibiru coming?
No. The Anunnaki came from this Nibiru thousands of years ago. Hundreds of thousands, not millions, really. They are not coming back, except at a multidimensional level. There is a forever soul connection between Nibiru and your planet. They're coming back in the sense that your memory and awareness of the Anunnaki is being opened. But are they coming back in a physicalized way? Absolutely not.
Okay. And there is uh, a girl in Barbara Marciniak who she used to speak about Nibiru a lot, all the time, that it was coming back, and we had to be careful, and so blah blah blah. What do you think about it?
Again?
Yeah, now I can hear you. Yeah.
Hmm. Is it working again? Hello, hello.
Yes, we hear you now. And again, no.
You can hear?
I can hear you now. Yes.
Cutting out really bad. Yes, no, maybe?
Yes, we hear you now.
Hello, hello?
Hello, hello. We are here also. We can hear you now.
Okay. Well, we can continue. Sorry about that. I think I'm gonna go without the audio now. Hello. Oh. I don't know. I don't know what to do. So you can.
We cannot hear you, Dante.
Yeah, I don't understand. I think. Is anything happening at all?
We can hear you now.
Might be time to just give up. I can't hear. I can't hear.
I can hear you.
Oh, you can hear again now?
Yes, I can hear
I can
you.
hear you now.
Okay, okay. I'm not sure. I'm gonna give this. We'll give this one last chance. All right, all right. We will try again. If it doesn't work this time, we may end it early. So let us continue with the questions.
I have a question. Can I ask a question? I don't hear you.
Yes,
Oh, yes. Okay, thank you.
we can. Yes.
I have lately some experiences with an alchemist and another group where I was part of. And I was wondering, my question is, these people were warning for channelings and for being in contact with extraterrestrials. Me, for myself, I experienced contact with extraterrestrials. I think Arcturians who helped me when I was very ill several times, and several times I helped them with operations with other people. I'm a nurse, and then I was together with them in an operation room. But these people in these groups seem to say that it's not safe and it's not pure. You have to be careful that you are not with the wrong energy. For me, the energy feels okay, clear and good. But my question is, how do you know when you are in contact with the good vibes or not? Is it just to trust in your own heart, in your faith, or I don't know why these people keep saying this. In my opinion, it makes people bring fear, which is not necessary, I think.
They're afraid of what?
I don't know. I'm not afraid of the contact I have with, I think it's Arcturians, I don't know, but I have these beings with me sometimes, and sometimes they ask me to help them with operations energetically with people. I'm not exactly sure what the context is. And
These beings reconfiguring your energy system. They, in the programs, the energy systems. In your chakras, you have beliefs and you have emotions, and these are all made of subtle energy. And so during these transmissions of energy, they essentially rewire, transmit new frequencies to you.
The sound is not. Did I understand well? The beings are giving you
new beliefs and new energy.
Did I understand well that the energies are a kind of a download they give to me to grow further?
Yes, they're giving you information.
Yes, that's how I
beliefs and
experience
programs.
it. So what is happening with these persons, like the alchemist or the person in the group I was joining a couple of times? She was mentioning that these beings are not good and you have to be careful. I said, for me, they are good. Maybe for you, they're not, but for me, they feel good. So
the connection, I got disconnected again, and the connection is just too unstable, I think.
Sorry, I can hear you.
The connection is becoming too unstable to continue, I feel. It might... This is a little different out here. Can you hear me well now?
Yes.
Okay, maybe the Wi-Fi works better out in this area. Because I was going with... Yeah, I don't know what happened. I'm gonna give it one last attempt, but it's getting so interrupted at this point that it's just kind of killing the vibe and not allowing for me to really understand and them to really understand. So we'll give it one last chance. All right, we'll continue the true last chance here. Last try. What was this last part of your question about the energy transmissions? You're asking what is taking place when you meet with the Arcturian beings?
Now, I was wondering why people are making this. Other people say that you have to be careful, that these beings are not good beings. They could be bad energies, but I don't experience it like this because they protected me when I had a heart attack. And I know they are with me when my body is suffering. And sometimes they are with me when they ask me to support them.
Well, these people who are fearing these consciousnesses and these beings don't fully understand what they are. They are tapping into a primal level of fear and a primal sense of division and disconnection from others and from the whole that causes them to mistrust and fear anything that they don't fully understand. And many people in your world live in this way. So we would encourage you to not listen to the voices of people who fear energies that you know to be helpful. Whether the being you are interacting with, rather, is a person or is a spirit or a being like an Arcturian, you feel in your heart that being's intentions. You feel in how it feels to be around them. And if the energy is light and high and open and clear, or if it is negative and tense, if that energy is going to be helpful to you or not.
Very high in energy, and I also experienced that the alchemist was talking about the 178 helix chain was missing in my system, but it came back.
It did.
But it came back when she pushed me out of her group. Then it was back.
Something about this group, again, as we're saying, is that it is a divisive group that wants to keep people in control and wants to give people the sense that the leaders of the group are somehow spiritually superior. And this is the way that many groups are. This is the way that many of your nations are, and so many of the divisions of individuals work in your world, through this false sense of superiority and this sense of being holier than others, more spiritual than others, and therefore having the right way, and any other way is a danger or is a threat. So you need to watch out for this type of thinking, because the type of thinking that will lead you to true ascension is holism, is understanding that every part of this whole system in this world, whether it is playing out now in a positive or a negative way, belongs here and serves a purpose here and can fulfill that purpose here when brought into alignment and coherence with source consciousness. You and your own intuition have the power to know the truth and to tap into spirit. You don't need any of this holier than thou type of energy. It will only hold you back.
Yes, that's what I experienced. So I decide now that I have to follow my own way by myself.
Yes.
On my own feet.
Well, not necessarily by yourself. There will be other people that you can co-create with and can support you. And you don't have to fully agree with these other people to be able to exchange energy and love with them. And for that exchange of energy and love to help you grow on your own path. Though it's through your inner knowledge, through your own passion, through doing what you love to do, and letting that act of doing what you love help you get to know about yourself.
Thank you for that. Because
Yes,
co-creating resonates much more. That's better for me, I think, in the group. Then you do some effort together, and then when it's done, you can continue your own path.
Yes, exactly.
That's it. Thank you.
Oh, thanks to you as well.
Hello, Pleiadian Council.
Hello, yes.
I would like to ask, what is opposite of passion?
A passion?
Yes, opposite of it.
Fear?
Mm-hmm. And what's the definition of boredom when we are bored? We say we are bored.
Boredom means that you don't have your eyes on your passion because your passion hasn't gone away.
Mm-hmm. So it's like willingness, not act on my passion, right?
Yes, it means that you're doing something that you don't care about doing. That is boring.
Mm-hmm.
Though we say this to you, that time is nonlinear. So if you do things that you're passionate about some of the time, that should give you the energy to do the boring things that will sometimes feel meaningless to you, like doing the laundry. When you see things in the context that you need to have nice, fresh clothes to be able to live your daily life, and your daily life includes your passion, you can have passion for doing the laundry. Though in a life in which you don't make any space for your passion, you will be bored because you aren't doing what you care about.
Okay, thank you. And one more question. I would like to ask how to communicate with animals.
Telepathically, with feeling, in the same way that you would communicate with another spirit guide, in the sense that you communicate through feeling and energetic transference of energy. You can communicate with animals in that way. When you feel a certain way, when the animal looks at you, you can read into their feelings. And it's about sensing and noticing what signals they give you. How does that make you feel? And noticing that you can send your own energies of love and care towards the animals. It's a give and take sort of a dance of adapting and adjusting to each other.
And do they all the time read our thoughts or feelings?
Yes, they read your feelings, not as much your thoughts, because they don't think in the same way that you do. So the cat will not know what you're upset about, but the cat will always know that you're upset. That's why they come to you to support you in times when there is discoherence.
So embracing emotion, it's much better to start communicating with them.
Yes.
And I heard also that sending images may be also effective. How this may be done?
It's possible. Though the most important language of animals is touch and frequency. So the way that you touch them or accept that they don't want to be touched is important. And also know that they are feeling what you're feeling. So when you bring yourself into a regulated emotional state, that will help calm down an animal that is distressed.
And when I would like to train my dog to come back to me, how do I do it? I just embrace the love to be with him?
Yes.
Okay, and he hopefully will respond to that. Okay.
Call him towards you. Be loving towards him and he will be loving towards you. Though if he is not being loving towards you, he may be bored. And he might need to do something that excites him.
Yes, and when I would like to send him a command to come back to me, to return to me, it needs to be associated with some emotion, positive emotion, right?
Yes.
To make him to listen. Okay.
Because if you express that you're angry at him, why would he want to come towards you?
Sure, that's clear. Okay, I will try that. And I have one more question about fine-tuning, so to say, engineering process. When I'm designing something, especially technical nature of it, even mechanical or some piece of software, many times or all the time I start imagining it in my head, and then when I design it in my head, I will become excited about it, that this is the way how it might work. And then when I start acting on it, doing it in the physical world or even on the computer, then I run into problems usually. And then I need to go back to the designing process, thinking about it more, understanding what may be the process and so on. And my question is that how to fine-tune this process, that my design in my head should be more accurate.
This is your perfectionist coming back in.
Because I just would like to decrease the number of loops that that requires to have a working solution.
The more you insist on that, the longer it will take. The more you are curious about learning in the process, the more you will see the full picture along the way. So your perfectionist is insisting on doing it quicker without as many mistakes, but the trial and error process is a key component of your own work. So you need to just accept that, basically.
So it's maybe better to do the smaller steps than rather to fine tune it for the bigger steps, right? Okay.
Step by step, yes. Work out all the details along the way. But most importantly, don't have insistence. Allow it to be a learning process. Allow it to take as long as it takes, and it will move quicker. Because the more you insist that you get it right, the more times you'll get it wrong.
Mhm.
This is the energy of insistence. Come to remember, insistence is always repulsive to what you actually want. Whereas adaptation and curiosity allow you to maneuver the situation with greater ease.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you very much.
Our thanks to you as well. Any final questions?
Yes, I have another question.
All right.
Tell me more about the energy in Italy. Lately, we feel much more pressure around here in the mountains, and I don't know, something's coming up to shift, I think, but it's very heavy energy mixed up.
Where does this heavy energy come from?
From the earth.
No, it does not come from the earth.
My opinion is the Vatican.
One second. Can you turn up your volume in some way?
Yeah.
All right.
Is it better now?
Yes. The earth
When
is...
I feel
Yes,
Vatican,
go on. What were you going to say?
the energy I feel so heavily is the energy of the Vatican and the heavenly relations, connections with the people in Italy.
Oh, yes.
Absorbing, like willing and taking and staying in a role of being a victim.
Yes, it is this way that the religious institutions are energy harvesting. They are parasitic, they are vampiric, they control the masses with their beliefs and ideas. And when you are close to such a center of negative energy, you might feel some of that. Though you can also tune out of it. Though in order to tune away from the energy of that, you have to not connect and associate with people who vibrate at that level. And this can be difficult, and that can be a reason to relocate to a place where there is a clearer vibration, where there are others who think and act more similarly to you.
That's what we are doing now. We're selling our house and we're going to move to a mill we found in nature.
Yes.
With waterfalls and the elements and lots of land and no people.
Yes.
Because there's a portal on that place.
Yes, when you tap into these natural places where there is positive energy and there's beauty that allows you to connect with the earth in a deeper way, your heart will open and you will be able to disconnect from the disharmonious vibrations that are put out by other people. So don't totally disconnect from other people. Remember that even when you are alone in the world, there are people that are out there that share your views online. And it is important to be able to exchange ideas and energies with others. And we would suggest this of individuals who are out there watching this in any place where there's a low and dense energy. Recognize that much of what you feel is simply the energy field of other people around you. And by allowing yourself to share energy and information with people of a like vibration, you will experience a greater sense of connection with Source.
Because I feel that I'm here for some reason with the shift we need to do here in Italy, or need to help. I mean, I'm not making the shift, but I feel that I have something to do in this, but I haven't met the people yet.
If you're excited about being there, allow yourself to be there. The purpose of your growth is being excited, passionate, and in love. And if that energy carries out, then that is purpose to be there. Though don't allow yourself to attach to any stories of what you're supposed to do, because you're in a life that is always changing. And as soon as you lose your passion for something, it might not be relevant for you anymore. There are many reasons that are internal that might make you doubt through your own belief systems, your passion, though sometimes you get to a point in which you are at a crossroads and your passion is guiding you to follow a different direction. Always be open to the path changing and know that the compass is your heart. If you love what you're doing exactly what you need to be doing. And if not, tap into your heart and let your heart guide you, because your only mission is what your heart guides you to do.
Yeah. Thank you for this question.
Yes, thanks to you as well. All right, we suppose that will be all for today. Then we thank you, all of you together, for coming together in this way and supporting your planet by integrating these higher frequency energies in your lives and allowing this information and energy to be accessed by others. We are very appreciative that you come together to do this, and that you come together to support each other, and that we are able to support you. For as souls of like intention come together to support the betterment of the all, that energy ripples out, and that is what makes it possible for this planetary ascension to happen. Do not become simply ones who are along for the ride, as they say. Know that you are directing where the ride goes, and you are in the driver's seat always. And your heart is what is your navigation system is. So trust the natural navigation system of your heart and follow it. Your heart can't take you there. Your heart can only tell you where to go. And you have to use all of your being to trust your heart's navigation. Our great thanks and love to you, and we wish you a fantastic rest of your day then. All right. How's everybody doing? How was the transmission?
It was very good. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, thanks for it.
You're so welcome. Thanks for coming, everybody. And sorry for the internet cutting out. I don't know. It's something that happens on occasion here. But once I move to my more permanent place, I do think that the internet is going to be a lot better. And there's also places local that have that Starlink. One of the positive things that have come from that very strange figure, Elon Musk, the Starlink allows people to be connected anywhere to the internet. So that is very good and will allow me to keep working through this. But yeah, I do apologize for the inconvenience.
No problem. It happens.
Yeah. Well, what are the messages in this chat? Oh, thank you for the presentation today. Much love. Well, it's a pity I couldn't see all of the messages that came through earlier, but maybe they are in the whatever they're in. the meeting. I don't actually know if that's there. Anyway, I appreciate your any sharing that you do. And even if you weren't on the YouTube video today, I would really appreciate it if you can go to YouTube and like and share the video, or share it, comment on the video, as that really boosts us in the algorithms and let many other people know. And if you know others who are interested and called to this, then you can just as much share that with them. I'll show you one other thing as well when it comes to YouTube, as YouTube can make it a little bit difficult sometimes to actually get notified when, what's going on here? Okay. YouTube can make it difficult to stay notified as to when somebody is actually making content and posting content. So you can see my YouTube feed here. Let's see, which channel do we want to go to? So many different channels. Okay, so here's a great channeler, Rob Gauthier. Thanks, Rob, for doing what you do too. You skip the ad, of course, and then you pause the video because that's not it. Oh, okay, here we see the ET Whisperer, and then you see that bell, and the bell brings up, oh, it's personalized notifications. It shows me some, but then I click the top and I hit all notifications, and then anytime there's a video or any content at all, then you will get that. You'll get notified that there's a new video out there and you can watch it. So yeah, stay tuned. And I hope to do many more live streams, eventually getting back up to doing it weekly again after a lot of traveling and sporadic energies in that regard.
Yeah, thanks for it. Thanks for today.
You're welcome, of course.
And
Good day,
And
good evening.
Good night. Thanks,
Thank you.
everybody.
Have a nice day.
And just a reminder to support in whatever way you can. The best way to support is sharing it. And also, I accept donations for these sessions, or you can book sessions and join the channeling course and many of the other amazing offers that I shared in the beginning of the video. Okay, I'm hungry and tired now.
Yeah.
Time to move on. I appreciate you all for being here.
Yeah.
Much love and goodbye.
Bon appétit.